Hey everyone, I'm Jay.
And I'm Sean.
And today we've got some movies that you might want to check out on Amazon Prime. That's right, if you have Amazon Prime, you know the same day delivery option that you sign up for, it's a subscription. It's not just for packages, you can also watch movies. So, not everyone knows this. We recently revealed it to my sister, who now is addicted. Although I think she's addicted to the Housewives of whoever.
Yeah.
So we're gonna suggest some movies that you might want to check out on there. Because actually, there's some good stuff. It has certainly not got the catalog that Netflix does, but they do have some really good stuff.
So they actually have more movies than Netflix has, but 90-something% of them are horrible. So it's a lot to sort through. Yes. So we'll give you some help.
Well, that is how Netflix and Amazon are buying movies now, is studios will package them. So, you know, Netflix or Amazon will say, hey, I really would like to give me a movie.
Hustlers,
that's a good one. I'd really like to show Hustlers. And then the studio goes, well, you can have Hustlers, but can you also take these 25 other movies? And you were going to pay $2 million for Hustlers. Why don't you pay $2.5 million? Take these other movies. And that's how these streaming services have some great movies and a lot of shitty ones. So that's the deal. Everything is sold in packages these days. And so yes, you have to sift. Sift for the gold. What's a gold? Well, Hustlers. Well, I guess we'll start there because it was on your list.
Yeah.
I got to see this one at TIFF. And I was not, it wasn't one that I was looking forward to. It's the one about Jennifer Lopez and Constance Wu are strippers. Yes. That is what they do for money. And they realize, first of all, in the 2008 economy sort of
financial
crash,
crisis.
Yes. A lot of their big spenders weren't as big spenders anymore. It turns out that strip clubs are 94% Wall Street guys and 6% rappers. So they were left with only the rappers, and it just wasn't enough rain. So Jennifer Lopez was not just a stripper, and this is based on a real story, FYI.
Of Jennifer Lopez's life?
No, it is not a biopic of Jennifer Lopez. I guess it's not a biopic either, but she's a bit of an entrepreneur, and so she signs up some of her close stripper friends, and they kind of start a side hustle where they go out and find men who still have money, bring them back to these clubs or strip joints, and they get a cut of whatever the guys spend. But these ladies are not stupid. When you know you're getting a cut of what the guy spends, what do? You make sure he spends a lot. And no, they're not going to lap dance him, Sean.
Oh.
No, they're going to drug him and max out his credit card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's easier.
It is, but it catches up with you eventually.
It's illegal.
Yeah. Turns out it's dicey. So Jennifer Lopez actually got Oscar buzz for this role. And it didn't pan out. We already know it didn't pan out. But it wasn't totally unwarranted. She worked her ass off on screen, but she really worked her ass off on the pole. She had stripper poles apparently put into all of her homes so she could practice for months and months, even though she was already, a dancer and an athletic woman.
That's right.
But you can see the hard work that she put into this. Even if you're watching from your own home, you will want to throw dollar bills at the screen. And I'm not talking ones and fives, ladies. She is hot stuff. You cannot help but admire her or marvel over her age, which is now over 50. And she is crazy amazing. So it is worth checking out. It's not just a stripper movie.
Not just, but also
it's a stripper movie. And you're gonna see some boobs and butts. Okay, so Booksmart, another one. Another female-directed one. That's awesome, 2 in a row. So this one is Olivia Wilde's directorial debut, I believe. And it's the kind of movie that sort of sneaks up on you, because it's about 2 teenage girls who are in their senior year of high school, and they have been very good girls all along, brought home perfect grades, have gotten into the colleges of their choice, and high school is about to end, and they realize that although they have done extremely well academically, they are socially lacking. So they dedicate this one last weekend to doing all of the partying that they missed. You know what? Partying doesn't exactly come naturally to them. And they've sort of been left off the guest list up until now. So there's a lot of, unexpected sort of hurdles that they're going to have to jump over because they don't know the party situation. They're trying so hard to get into it, but it's a little baffling to them. But it is kind of a sweet movie about how friendship changes at the end of high school because everyone's going their separate ways, and it makes you reflect on why were we even friends in the first place, because of course we do. We choose friends who are physically close to us when we're kids, and that doesn't stay that way. So it's kind of a sweet tribute to female friendship and the bonds that may or may not last, but that doesn't mean they weren't extremely strong at the time. And sort of letting go of sort of our childish selves, I guess, because at some point you gotta move on and be a grown-up.
And graduate.
Yeah. Eventually they even let Sean do that.
They did eventually, yeah. I think my mom had to pay them. But.
Poor Nancy.
Yeah.
So Wild Rose, I think you have not seen it.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. So this is a really good one, and it was kind of an under the radar one, but if you've seen it, you love it. So it's about this woman who I think she's in Ireland. She's got a kid. Her mother was taking care of the kid because she was in prison. And when she gets out of prison, she's struggling to take custody of her kids back, and it's complicated and it's messy, and obviously she can't get a lot of work. Somewhat because of her, police record. It is a stumbling block, so you may want to consider that before you get into a life of crime. But also because in her head, she imagines herself as a singer. That was always her intention. Prison derailed her career, she believes, and so her dream is to go to Nashville and really make a go of it.
It's a long way from Ireland.
It is. So she does abandon her children again and go to Nashville.
She's not the only one that's done that.
No, she is not. But it is kind of, she is talented. She is super talented. But sometimes you need to be more than just talented to make it in the business and support yourself and have this as a career. And when she gets to Nashville, she's kind of confronted with there being an awful lot of people like her, and maybe more people like her who are trying to make it than people who made it. So that's kind of a stark reality, and she has to come to terms with the fact that she's left her children to do this, and where is success going to come from? How hard can she hustle? Because she's only got a limited amount of money. So yeah, it's really complicated, and she really has to think about her life and the choices she makes. So even though it's specifically about a singer trying to make it big, it feels more universal and relatable just in the compromises we make, because nobody gets to have it all. Yeah.
So next.
Yeah.
John Wick. Bonus. John Wick 1, 2, and 3 are all on Amazon Prime.
Yes. Now, do we love this movie?
Yes.
Well, Sean loves it.
I love these movies.
And I'm the one that told you to watch it.
Yes, you are. You
Because
knew I
even
would love it.
I loved this movie, and I'm not usually like super actiony, whatever. But Keanu Reeves in the title role is just kind of great.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the story is really interesting. I really like his character, and like he's retired, so he's very grumpy about being dragged back into this. So, you know, the violence is like no nonsense. It's spectacular.
Amazingly
It is
choreographed.
so well shot. But he is like not taking any pleasure in this. You know, he is just kind of cold-hearted, going through the motions. Doesn't really care if he lives or dies. He just wants to take a bunch of people out with him, and he super does.
He's good.
Yeah. But, for 3 movies, I mean, we keep getting new action sequences, new fights, new ways to kill people, new ways to stab people.
They keep
Holy
raising the
cow.
stakes.
Yeah.
They keep having fight scenes that are better than the ones you've seen before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how they're going to top it, because there's going to be another one or 2 or 3. This is a franchise that could be like a Fast and Furious that only stops when Keanu can't do it anymore, which who knows when that's going to be. Like, he's up there and
He's already
still
over
killing it.
50 himself.
Yeah.
So, there you go. This list is showing that we can still achieve our dreams of stripping and murder.
Yay!
There is hope for you.
Yeah. Next on the list is Boy.
Yay!
From Taika Waititi.
Gosh, we love him.
Yes, we do.
We love him so much.
So this is an earlier one.
Yes.
One of his first.
But so good.
Yes, it is.
That's what I mean, you can't help but admire. We were actually just watching, you may
The
know
Mandalorian
the making
Star Wars
of.
Gallery documentary.
On Disney Plus. Sorry, this is name is on Prime Video. We're talking about Disney Plus. But they just did this great big series, The Mandalorian, which is really cool. Sean loved the heck out of it. And now they've released the making of. So we're hearing from all the directors who came in. John Favreau is talking, and we saw Bryce Dallas Howard, who directed an episode, and Taika Waititi directed an episode, and did a little character, I think, in the
voice.
pilot.
He was the robot. IG-88.
So, thank you. Wow, very
You're
good. So they really were like, well, you know, this guy comes in and he did Thor, but to me, he's not
Thor.
the director of Thor. He is such a he had his voice since the day one. It is, you have to admire that he just has such a distinct personality that he puts into his movies. They feel like Taika Waititi movies, even though he's done some pretty diverse things. And Boy is kind of an exceptional movie in that he really, you know, keeps it to his roots. It's really a love story to New Zealand and its people. But it is funny as heck. He lucked out with some exceptional kid actors, I think. I mean, it's not luck, but it is hard to find a really good kid actor. And
Well, the kids in Boy, in a number of movies, they make or break it. And you don't have a lot of control. They're almost like animals, where you just have to hope for the best. But yeah, in Boy, the boy is awesome. He's fantastic.
Yeah. So that is, everybody should see it. Watch all of his early stuff.
You can't go wrong.
So good.
And you will see, we're discovering him globally now because he has done Thor, and he did Jojo Rabbit, and he did Hunt for the Wilder People, which I think is his breakout. But before that even, they're all good, and they're all, if you liked the stuff that you have seen, you are also going to like the stuff that you haven't, because it's him. It's been him from the start.
Yeah.
Next on the list, You Were Never Really Here.
Another female director. So that's really excellent.
Yeah.
This is Joaquin Phoenix at his best. I love this movie. It is violent, but it's very different. And it's funny, I think it's just sort of a game changer within its genre. It's almost more of a character study, and you know, the violence is happening around him, but it feels so insulated. My gosh, it's startling. And what a terrific performance by him. And I know this is the year we're just coming off his Oscar win. I think well deserved for Joker. I really loved Joker. I loved him in Joker. But this movie is so unique. It's breathtaking to watch. And I can hardly say that about most action movies, but this is so much more than that. It really aspires to put us in his shoes. And I think at the same time, he is searching for himself. Even though he's actually searching for someone else, he is searching for himself, and if he has lost himself in all of this. Because it is quite a lifestyle if you buy that anybody has this job, has this career. It's quite a life to choose for yourself, and do you get lost in it? And I guess the title sort of speaks to that. If you're doing that job well, then you never were there.
Well said.
Every mark you leave, you're not supposed to leave any.
Then you're bad at your job.
Yeah. So it's kind of surprisingly interesting. I think it caught a lot of people off guard because we haven't really seen it from that kind of film before. So it's definitely worth the watch.
Next on the list is Honey Boy.
Ooh, good. Very good, Sean. You saw this with me at TIFF,
Yes,
correct?
we did see it together at TIFF.
Oh, yes, I remember now. It was at Roy Thompson Hall,
It
right?
was. Yep.
So we saw it with a lot of people at TIFF.
Including Shia LaBeouf.
That's right.
And
Lucas
this is
Hedges.
another female-directed
That
movie.
is right. My goodness. Way to go, Amazon Prime. It's nice to see some strong contenders. This movie really surprised me and blew me away.
Well,
I was not ready for that.
I don't think anyone was ready for this.
Yeah.
This is basically Shia LaBeouf wrote this movie. It is his life, except that he plays the character of his father.
That's right.
So his dad is not a good guy, and this is him just breaking into acting as a kid. He's like 10 or 11.
Yeah. Noah Jupe plays him as a young guy, and Lucas Hedges plays him when he's in his Transformers years, we'll say.
Yes. Having a bit of a hard time, and even if you're only a casual follower of Hollywood gossip, you will know that Shia LaBeouf had some bad times. He was not handling things well not too long ago.
Yeah. And so this gives you some really sad insight into maybe why that is. And I think we look, at young Hollywood and we say like, oh, they've always fall apart. Child actors always have like a breakdown. And that does kind of feel like the case a lot of the time. But here we see his family life so unstable that his dad, his alcoholic, prison,
Yeah.
and that's the one who has custody of him.
Yeah, that's apparently the better parent because he is actually in the picture.
Yeah. But he is the driving force behind Shia's career. He is forcing his kid into this. He is, teaching him his lines with kind of violent methods. I mean, it's agony to see him as a kid. It's agony again to see him as more of a grown-up who just feels like he doesn't really have a choice. Does he even like acting, or is it really the only thing he can do because he never went to school? He doesn't have any other skills. Well, I mean, when you see this script that he wrote himself, as an act of, I think, it's somewhere along the 12 steps, we'll say yes. It's clear that he still does love his dad, and he is working on the issues. My gosh, there's so much humility to this. I really admired his ability to put himself out there in this way. And just imagine to play your father, your abusive father, to play him and have to find the empathy for him. You come to know him in a different way.
It's a good point because Shia LaBeouf in this movie is not an unlikable guy at times. He is a person. He is not a monster. And I think that is something that would be difficult for anyone, but must be especially difficult for the guy who was at the receiving end of this abuse.
Yeah, so it's a very surprisingly beautiful film, and I recommend it. One that you may have missed in theaters is Late Night. That is the one with Emma Thompson and Mindy Kaling, in which Emma Thompson plays a late night talk show host, like Jimmy Kimmel or Jimmy Fallon, one of the Jimmys. But she, you know, if you look at the lineup even now, you see that there are no women, and so she really was a groundbreaking, glass ceiling breaking comedian. But isn't anymore. She's grown a little stale. Her show has grown a little stale, and the network is thinking of pulling the plug. They just don't think she is in touch, which is ironic because as if any of the old white men are any better in touch, but they want to replace her. And so one of the things that, and I don't even know if we should give her the credit because I don't think it was her at all, but somebody makes a diversity hire. A diversity hire in Mindy Kaling into the writer's room.
It's a good thought.
Yeah.
Even if not for great reasons.
Not for great reasons. And the thing is, Mindy Kaling does come in with some fresh ideas and a new perspective, and everybody just wants to reject them. So even when you bring it in, knowing that you need to make change, you see how people are still so reluctant to make the change. It's so hard. They're so stuck in it. But Mindy Kaling has just this effervescent personality, this, you know, constant joy that, and it's kind of an in-your-face, just likability. If you can really say that, but she's so unrelentingly nice that eventually you have to kind of let her in a little bit.
You can't not like Mindy Kaling. She's gonna win you over.
Yes. And I mean, both in the movie and as a person, she is super smart and she is a terrific writer. And eventually they have to admit that because her material is working. So Mindy Kaling wrote this script, and she wrote it based on her real life experience of being a diversity hire on the set of The Office. So of course we all know she played a part, but she was a writer, and she was, you know, the one woman and a brown woman in the room. She was a diversity hire. And, you know, she's like, I think we need to start admitting that and talking about it. I think Mindy Kaling has really wanted to shine a spotlight on this because it is her personal experience. And nobody likes to say it, but it's true. She only got there, well, no, she didn't only get there because of her skin color, but at the end of the day, that's why they brought her in, because they wanted someone diverse. But it's okay. These things like affirmative action, they are good things. And obviously, she is enormously talented, but she would have been overlooked. And so when she gets there, she gets talked into taking a part because she wasn't supposed to be on camera, but they just have this great character, this great voice, and they want to use it. And look where it has gotten her. She's had how many TV shows now? And movies. She is a powerhouse who, if not for that one little box checking hire they did, we may never know about.
Yeah, and it is necessary. You have to even the scales because whether white men want to admit it or not, the scales are tipped in white men's favor right now. There is a thumb on the scale.
Yes.
So the diversity hire is not an unfair thing. Well, I guess in a way it's unfair because it's flipping the scale.
Well, that's the thing. And the other guy that was up for the job was the brother of another writer. So it's not that he's super deserving.
No, he's not more deserving. He's just more classically deserving of the way of networking and meeting the right people who are all your frat boys.
White male friends and brothers. Like, hello. So it was a good movie to show that bit of it and to sort of not be embarrassed to admit these things anymore, because in fact it did work for her and for NBC. Certainly she went on to make a lot more money for them and has made a lot more money for a lot of people. I love Mindy Kaling, and I loved this movie.
Next on the list, The Lighthouse. Another one that you loved.
Oh boy. Oh my gosh. Okay. So Robert Eggers, the director, we actually saw him in his directorial debut at a film festival when he played the witch. And this was before everyone made a big deal about the witch. Nobody had ever heard of it.
It had just been at a few, it had been at Sundance and a few other small festivals. It was the New Hampshire Film Festival that we saw it at because he is from New Hampshire. So that was a special favor that he did to them, is bring his movie there, which was going to be a big thing.
Yes.
And was a big thing.
Although I wasn't sure it was a favor to me.
Because she had to sit through it.
Yeah, I'm not good with scary movies. But guess what? And this one was super scary. And this is actually the kind of movie that I hate the most.
Yes, where they make you wait.
Yes. I'm not afraid of gore. I'm not afraid of blood and guts if you're going to just be honest about it. But it's the part in a scary movie that's like the anticipation, the build-up, the heightening of tension.
And if you've seen The Witch, that's all it is until the last 5 minutes.
Oh, gosh. It was so difficult. And yet, you know, when I got out of there and like Sean beat the tension out of my muscles for like 12 hours or something, you digest it and you're like, wow, there was a lot going on in that movie. And for a first time effort to come out with something this daring and bold, wow. So I knew when his next movie, The Lighthouse, was playing at TIFF that I should go and see it. Even though Sean couldn't even come with me this time, I would have to take it on alone, and I know what I'm getting into this time. So yeah, that was a real experience. And this movie is a lot. So it's Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe are these two men who are sent out to work on a completely deserted island, just the two of them on this rock with a lighthouse. And it turns out just being out there, and they're there to serve a specific amount of time, which is a matter of months. But then the stormy weather continues so that nobody can come get them for an even longer extended period, which is now up in the air. We don't know when it'll be over. So those things really prey on their mental health. There is a lot of instability, not just for the characters, but for us as the audience, because, you know, we are seeing the story from both of the characters. We don't know which one is crazy. Are they both crazy? Are any of these things really happening? Is any of this true? You just are constantly dizzy and disoriented. It's a lot. It's a lot, but it is kind of cool, I have to say. If you are a movie lover, if you like to nerd out on this stuff and to check out all the themes, what's up with the birds, you know, it really is one of those movies that is demanding to be unpacked by nitpicky minds. It's a lot to handle, but it is an exceptional movie as far as performances, and obviously this director is someone to watch.
And last on our list,
but not least
at all, The Farewell.
Yes, really not least.
Really not least. So another female director.
That's right.
And this is Awkwafina, starring as a student in the US who has to go back to China because her grandmother is dying. But in Chinese tradition, apparently, you don't tell the old people that they're about to die. You just kind of pretend that everything is fine. And the doctors are in on this whole thing too, where everyone is like, oh, you're good, you're good. Meanwhile, they're planning her funeral and everyone is there to say farewell, except not.
Except not in those words.
No.
So in order to go with the ruse, because a lot of people are visiting from America for this, one of the cousins gets married. And the awkward thing is, he and his girlfriend are not really at this stage. They're not
very fresh. Yeah.
So I felt for this girlfriend who went along with this. Just because it's not my culture. I don't think it's her culture either, if I'm not mistaken.
I think you're right, yeah.
Because even his family lived elsewhere. I can't remember where. So she goes along with this, and they it's not even a staged wedding.
No, it's an actual wedding. It's a
wedding. Everybody comes in for the wedding, and it's a way to spend these final family moments all together as people say goodbye without ever using that word, because we can't let Grandma know that she's dying. So it was a beautiful film, a lovely way to share some of that culture with us, because I had certainly never heard of that before. And it's really kind of touching to see the lengths the people are going to they think do a really nice thing for this woman, and that just let her live her final days in peace with never knowing that the end is coming, while giving her, the opportunity to see all of her loved ones again and have a happy moment, a happy event to plan and to cherish. So you can kind of see what a nice kind of thing that is to do for your family member. But again, as Sean said, Awkwafina is American. She moved there when she was very little, so she has a hard time feeling super connected to China or its cultures, even though she was very, very close to this grandmother. So she's struggling, I think, between her two cultures and trying to think what's best. And her elders, including her father, are teaching her why they believe this is the best way. But really, they're teaching us, and it's so cool to be let in on a culture and its traditions this way. It's so intimate, you almost feel like you're eavesdropping on some very personal family time.
Yes, that is a really nice aspect of this, that Awkwafina is us, trying to understand this. And so we can have these discussions within the movie of why things are done this way, even when Awkwafina is like, this is crazy. You got to tell this person, doctor, what are you doing? And
it's just not our way, but it's somebody's way, and there are some really beautiful intentions behind it.
It works.
And I think, Grandma might not be as
she's not totally oblivious. Not at all.
Well, she knows the tradition as well. So, but I think maybe not talking about it is a way to sort of make the goodbye a little easier. So I think both sides are doing it for each other. And that's kind of a beautiful...
That is kind of a beautiful thing of an expression of love in an unusual way
for us
on this side of the ocean.
That's right. So it is just a super well acted. There's a big ensemble cast, of course led by Awkwafina. And I remember several years ago seeing her in just a throwaway teenage movie where she was not the central character, she was just one of the friends. And I remember writing, keep your eye on this girl. And I still can't even believe how right I was, because she just shines every time she's on the screen. She has just one of those forceful personalities that just, it's like a magnet. You're just drawn to her. And she is very good at being the every person while still bringing her own brand into the story. And she has done quite a few roles now. We've seen her like in Jumanji and Crazy Rich Asians. We've seen her do even Ocean's 8, a lot of different roles. But she always seems to just bring her own thing to each of them. So it's really interesting to watch her She does a really good job handling all of the emotions because she is saying goodbye, not just to her grandmother, but I think to her own past, because this is the last link she really has to China, and will she have an excuse to visit again after she loses her grandmother? And it kind of even reminds her, like when she lost her grandfather, they didn't talk about it and they didn't include her. And so this loss, not just for the people she loved, but the place where she was born, there's a lot for her to mourn, I think. And so it is truly a privilege to be able to sort of eavesdrop on a very, I think, internal turmoil that she plays very well.
Well said.
Well, I don't know about that, but
That's a good movie.
it is a very good movie.
These were all good movies.
We saw that in theaters, and I think we thought it was supposed to be a good one, but whew,
Yep.
some of them just get under your skin, and this one really made me feel emotion.
Yes, it did.
And Sean witnessed some emotion.
I witnessed some more emotion in that one, that's right.
Yes. Okay, so those are all movies you can check out on Amazon Prime. It is a good place. If you're already paying for it anyways, be sure to check out those movies. There's good stuff on there. That's it from us. Thanks for
Bye.
watching. Bye.